Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad that you decided to join us today. I'm glad you were able to take this time to join us at Unity of Tacoma Online. My name is Reverend Lori Irwin Johnson, and I use the pronouns she and her. And so if you've never been with us before, we're so glad you decided to join us. If you are a regular and decide that it was a good day to come back, I really appreciate you each and every Sunday that you decide to join us. Thank you for being here. You're so welcome. Today, I have an interesting talk title, and a lot of people were kind of questioning what it was. But the title is Wu Wei, the Art of Effortless Action. I'm going to stumble on that word because effortless is not very effortless for me. Where we're going to explore aligning ourselves with the natural flow of things. So, acting in harmony with the Tao and the natural order of the universe. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. But first, I would like to introduce our musical guest. We have David Robbecke, and I'm so glad that you're here today, David, and that we got the music up and going. And I'm going to start you off then and invite you to come in for a song. So thank you for being here.
Okay. Am I on? Oh, okay, there it is. Sorry.
You're on.
All right, here we go. When I open my heart big and wide, my essence cannot hide. You see me as I am, a tender, gentle little light. With pure light, love, I smile at you. Take it in and smile too. Together we break out in a song and sing our love the whole day long. Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! When I open my heart big and wide, my essence cannot hide. You see me as I am, a tender, gentle little lamb. With your light, love, I smile at you. You take it in and smile too. Together we break out in a song, sing our love the whole day long. Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ha 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 ha! Heidi, 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 ho!
Thank you, David. Nice to have you. All right, everyone, let's start off with the prayer for protection. So if you know the prayer for oh, my tongue is not working today. You know the prayer for protection, please share it with me. Otherwise, the words are going to be on the screen, so you can say it anyway. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God unfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. So I'd like to take this moment to just center ourselves, bring ourselves to the present moment, where we are right here, right now, connecting with the hearts and the spirits of each person that's here, feeling their love and support. And as we become more centered, we bring our attention to our hearts. And we know that we do not have to struggle right now. We do not have to strive right now. We can let go. We can get comfortable. We can relax. And we can allow the hour to unfold. We allow what is to be what is. We know that what will be will unfold in divine order. We have faith that all things are as they should be. Despite what we see, despite what we might hear, despite what the rumblings might be in our world, we know and have faith that right here, right now, that we have all that we need. We are in control of our reactions, of what it is that we do, how we think, and we can control how we respond to things. But all those things outside of us are difficult to influence. But we know and have faith that the right thing, the right solution, the right problem-solving person will come in and be able to do what needs to be done. If it's not us, then someone else. So we hold that onto that faith. And with gratitude, we are so grateful that we do have the capacity to let go and allow the right thing to come to fruition. Exactly what needs to happen. And as we bring ourselves out of prayer, we remain prayerful in the back of our minds and our consciousness. And even though we are going about our day, we hold the greatest good for each and every situation and each and every individual. Again, with gratitude, we say, and so it is. Amen. All right. What an interesting day here in the Pacific Northwest. I woke up this morning and it was gray. And it's been so warm, and it's such a reprieve to have a gray, overcast marine air day. But I set up my hot tub yesterday. So I'm feeling like maybe it needs to warm up just a tad. So let's hold that a little bit too, so I can sit in my hot tub later. All right. So we're going to go into our announcements. And I'd like to start off by saying that we are being live streamed. So in this moment, at this time, we are actually being live streamed to everyone on YouTube, anyone that's joining us. Now, if you're uncomfortable with that, if you don't want your face to be seen, if you don't want your voice to be heard, please turn your cameras off and your mics off, because throughout the hour, we will be live streamed on Zoom. And I just wanted to be transparent about that and let you know, and so you have control of what it is that you can do. The following events that I'm going to be talking about are going to be listed on our website at unityoftacoma.org. And Amarius is going to put that link in the chat so you can go to our calendar and see what's happening and bookmark that calendar on your computer, on your browser, so you know for sure what to get there really quickly by just clicking on your browser and clicking on that tab. And you can see what's going on our website, and it gets updated on a regular basis. Next Sunday, I'm excited because Reverend David Elliott is going to be back with us, and his musical guest is Christine S. Young. So they always make a really great duo. I'm really excited to have them, and they'll be here at 10 a.m. next Sunday, July 28th. And Marcia is planning on getting a group together to attend Shakespeare in the Park at Wright Park. And that's August 3rd. That's a Saturday. And the play starts at 6 p.m. So talk to Marcia if you are interested in learning how to get involved, or you can email me at my email at lori@unityoftacoma.org. And Amarius will put my email address in there so you can contact me. This event is free, but if you would like to coordinate with the rest of the individuals here who are going, please contact Marcia, she is the one that is doing that. Also, we are supporting Unity of Tacoma, a backpack drive for kids in the South Tacoma area through Community Care Connections. They are looking for school supplies, and it's really super easy to donate to this school drive. Their list is on Amazon. So you see that on the screen, you have a QR code that you can scan, or you can write down the link. and both will take you directly to where you can donate whatever it is on their list. So, for example, I love notepads, so I got a whole bunch of notepads for them, and I just ordered it through Amazon, and it gets delivered right to them. I don't even have to worry about it. Super simple. And so, if you would interested in donating, you can use the link that's here. You could also scan. I'll also put it on our website. And after the service today, if you would like to see this screen again, so you can scan it or write down the link, that would be, I can certainly do that, and we can get you to a place where you can donate. Another thing that's happening that I am really excited about is that I've been in support of making things. I love to crochet. I'm a yarn artist. Never got into knitting. Knitting has not really been my strong suit, but I'm working on it. So I have signed myself up to be able to make hats and mittens for Nativity House. And they have, of course, it's a shelter for those people who are unhoused. And so, for those of you who are yarn artists like me, who have extra yarn like me, and are interested in making mittens and hats, please reach out to me. You can email me. Again, my email is in the chat. And or if you are interested and you don't have a bunch of yarn, Catholic Community Services has yarn available for those people who are volunteering to make mittens and hats. So if you're interested in that, email me at lori@unityoftacoma.org for more details, and I would be happy to share the information, because even though it's the middle of summer, it takes time to make things. So I'm going to be starting to make mittens and hats. And if you would like to do that with me, please let me know, and I would be happy to work with you. All right. So I'm going to invite Dave back for another song before we go into message.
And this song is a song that I wrote. It came to me like a year after I found Unity of Tacoma in I think it was 91. Anyway, this song came to me in a dream. It's a true story. And so I had to get up in the morning and turn on a recorder and record it. Anyway, the chorus and everything. So anyway, it's called Found My Way. Sometimes I wonder where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. When the world is cold and lonely, and I cannot find a friend. When the day seems long and empty, and I don't know what to do, I calm my mad impatience when I stop and turn to you. I found my way, found my way, found my way, found my way. Searched and asked more questions. I had to know the truth. I learned about forgiveness, and for grace you don't need proof. When miracles do happen, and you have the eyes to see, the path that had eluded was right in front of me. Found my way, found my way, found my way, found my way. Without your light to guide me, and I need a song to sing, I call on you to join me, and what happiness you bring. Found my way, 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 found my way.
Thank you, David. I always love that song. And you wrote that yourself.
Yes.
Excellent. I
Actually,
didn't
I had
know
help.
that.
Yeah.
I love that song. Thank
Came to
you.
me in a
Thank you for
dream.
sharing. All right. Well, with that, let's go into our message and let's start with our affirmation. So, our affirmation for today, there is one life, one healing power flowing in and through us all. Let's say that together. There is one life, one healing power flowing in and through us all. And our reading for today is written by Kevin Dickinson. He is a author for the bigthink.com. So I don't know if you've ever watched YouTube, but YouTube has a huge amount of just a library of videos with authors and influential people, and it's called Big Think. And usually it's just about really big ideas and things that can really help you. And so I'd never been to their website, but the other day I was looking through some articles that I was interested in reading, and I came across this one. And I thought it was really good because it really explained the topic for the topic that I'm going to be talking about, Wu Wei. So, and it reads, while yin and yang is perhaps the most known of Taoist symbols, water is the principal analogy of the Tao Te Ching. Water's properties best encapsulate the otherwise ineffable Tao, and as such, Lao Tzu teaches us readings to act in accordance with water. So how does one do that? Consider how water behaves. When it is appropriate, water can sit patiently in a pond, or it can flow as a stream. It's non-confrontational. It makes room for everything that enters it and accommodates any situation by assuming a new shape. It is humble, always flowing down to the lowest level. And finally, it is yielding and reticent. Those characteristics may seem like a call to be a wallflower or submit to others and never assert yourself, but that's not the case. As the Tao states in chapter 78, under heaven, nothing is more soft and yielding than water. Yet for attacking the solid and strong, nothing is better. It has no equal. The stone represents people who are immovable, confrontational, and overly assertive. And while it may seem like the stronger of the two substances, it is water that carves canyons to ultimately find this way. Note also how water's characteristics aren't just inwardly focused. Being humble, non-confrontational, and accommodating can help us build cooperative partnerships and meaningful relationships. And in doing so, help us to achieve balance with the world as much as with ourselves. And our inspirational lesson for today is from Lao Tzu, from the Tao Te Ching, chapter 8. Highest good is like water, because water excels in benefiting the myriad creatures without contending with them, and settles where none would like to be. It comes close to the way. So a couple of years ago, I was working towards my doctorate of divinity degree, and one of my projects for that program was to develop an online course for spiritual directors who are interested in advancing their careers. So if you're interested, if you know what a spiritual director is, it's a spiritual guide or companion, somebody that helps you through your spiritual development. And so it was my job to be able to make an integrative interfaith spiritual direction degree program. So if you're wondering what an integrative interfaith spiritual direction program would be like, integrative interfaith means that there is respect for all faiths, but also there is a transcendence beyond the division and categorization that our faiths create and our ideas of grouping together. So we recognize the importance of the uniqueness of us all, but we also recognize that there is a transcendence that is beyond those categories that we create. So when I was creating this program, I had the privilege to be able to work with a lot of different peoples from a lot of different faith traditions. And I had this one gentleman who was turned out to be a really good friend of mine, who ended up, he was really super conservative evangelical Christian. So his views were very narrow. He had this much wiggle room in his idea of what his Christian faith had been like. He is somebody who had grown up in the whole entire commune kind of situation where it was lots of people living together with the same faith tradition. And he was very embedded in that. And so I was really concerned because I was teaching an integrative interfaith class. So I thought, well, maybe he's going to reject this. And I was prepared for that to happen. So there I was, assuming that he would react in a negative way. However, I couldn't have been more wrong because we had been going through the different faith traditions, and it ended up that we came to the chapter about Taoism. Now, I thought for sure that Taoism, because it was seemingly different in its way, really ended up that it spoke to him in ways that he had never understood before. And it solidified his own faith by being able to look at this concept of Wu Wei. Now, Wu Wei is often translated as effortless, again, I'm struggling with that word, action and non-doing. And this principle is important in Taoism. And it's a philosophy and a spirit, both a philosophy and a spiritual tradition. So it's not only something that they believe, it's something that they live. And when you're in Taoism, you believe in living in harmony with the Tao. Now, just a side note, because there are a lot of different traditions in the world that have this idea that if you go with the flow, then things go better. And in the early Christian church, Jesus's people called themselves followers of the way. And in Taoism, it is also called the way. It is the philosophy which they live. So it is something that transcends a specific faith tradition. It is something that even though we're Christian, we follow a way. Even though you're Buddhist, you follow a way. And in the Taoist tradition, that is their way. They call it the way. And so it is the universal force that is all. And it sounds pretty familiar to those of us at Unity. We believe in that universal force that is available to all. So what happens is Wu Wei then, let me share my screen, is moving through life with ease and grace in harmony with natural order. So at its core, Wu Wei then is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of the universe. It's the idea that the best way to deal with situations is often to let things unfold naturally without forcing or striving excessively. So imagine a river that's flowing effortlessly around obstacles, and it's finding the path of least resistance. And this is the essence of Wu Wei, moving through life with ease and grace and in harmony with the natural order of all things. Now, just a little history about Wu Wei. It's a concept that's deeply rooted in the Taoist text, the Tao Te Ching. And the Tao Te Ching was written by or attributed to Lao Tzu. Now, the Tao Te Ching emphasizes simplicity, humility, and the importance of yielding when necessary. And Lao Tzu teaches this practice of Wu Wei, and we can achieve this harmony and balance within ourselves and within the world around us when we start to take in this idea and become part of this way of being, or the way, in the Taoist tradition. So there are several practical applications for Wu Wei that help us to be able to live a life that is more in harmony with the flow of things. And so there are many things that we can do to get there. So what happens is what it allows us to do, this Wu Wei, allows us to live mindful and to be in the present moment at all times. Now, that is something that we all strive to. We strive not to live in the past. We try not to worry about the future. We try to stay in what it is that we're doing right now. That's difficult to do sometimes. So when we use the analogy of water, when we are in the flow of life, we are moving around those obstacles, those things that seem difficult. So being part of the natural flow of events can help us to respond appropriately to each situation. It's responding instead of reacting out of habit or the stress of the situation. So when you're in this flow and you're mindful and being in the present moment, you are moving and being and reacting appropriately instead of responding negatively to the stress of change. Also, it's important to let go. Sometimes our efforts to control everything in our lives, and I'm saying this to myself because it's something that I have to work on every single day. I'm always trying to control the outcome. But Wu Wei teaches us to trust the process and to let go of the outcome and stop micromanaging everything. Not everything needs to be managed. Some things need to unfold and to flow exactly the way that they're supposed to. Also, there's balance. So finding a balance between action and inaction is crucial. So sometimes it's appropriate to act, and then other times it's appropriate to step back. And it is our responsibility to be able to know how our reactions and responses are and when we need to mitigate and change our behaviors. How are we reacting? Is it appropriate for me to step in, or is it appropriate for me to step back? Also, Wu Wei is really important for leadership. And then also parenting and anything that has to do when you are working with people, because you're inspiring and guiding others. And so through the process of this giving and allowing and being, you allow them to become the part of the flow of life. That flow that we get into when we are in the right space, doing the right thing at the right amount of skill, with the right amount of struggle, there is a sweet spot called flow. And so we go with the flow and we allow this to become who we are. And when we are in that sweet spot of the flow of life, then we feel like life is easier, that things unfold in a way that there is less struggle and less stress. The world we live in today is full of opportunities to be able to experience and use Wu Wei in our lives. So whether it is through what's happening in our world, whether it be political division or contention that we may be experiencing in the workplace, or whether we're having struggles with our family, or we are having interpersonal struggles where we're struggling with ourselves, we can apply Wu Wei by just being and allowing this to work through us, and it will bring us more peace. It doesn't mean that we should give up on working towards what it is that we would like to have or to do, or to ignore all of the struggles in the world, because that is irresponsible as well. But it does ask us to stop and to take a breath and to allow ourselves to settle into the moment and go within the stream of what's happening instead of being pushed back by the rocks and all of the hardness of the world. Because the hardness and all of the things that we're experiencing is something that we can move past. We can move through it, we can allow it to flow, and we can allow it to be. Now, many people know about Martin Luther King. Many people know about Gandhi and the struggles and the things that they went to and the type of passiveness that they used in their in all of the things that they did. However, they didn't give up. It wasn't about allowing them to take over. It wasn't allowing the powers that be to take over and to do the things that they didn't want. It was about allowing what needs to unfold while still being strong. The water is still strong. The water has the capability to wear down rocks. And so when you're the water, then you become more flexible, you become more appropriate in the moment, and you know how to act and react appropriately. And all of the leaders of the world who are ever successful in dealing with political and social ills have used this technique. Thich Nhat Hanh, another one, to be able to use this technique of just allowing what is to be as it is, and then to know what is yours to do. And I think we talk about that in Unity all the time. What is it that it's mine to do? It's mine to do what I can. Now, psychologically, there are lots of things that we can do, but there are lots of things that we don't have control over. And so psychology has created this wonderful map of what is within our control and what's outside of our control. And so what can we really control? Well, we can control our own mindset. We can choose a positive or growth-oriented focus in our lives. We can change the way we think. We can change the way we react and how we respond to situations and how we respond to challenges. And then we can set our minds up in a way where we are focusing on gratitude. We're focusing on what we have and rather than what we don't have. We can also look at our actions and our behaviors. So what decisions are we making? Are we being conscious and intentional about being in line with our values and our goals? Yes, we can even alter our habits. We can develop and maintain healthy routines that we would like to experience in our day-to-day lives and then be able to control those negative aspects about ourselves. And then we can put forward effort. Effort is the right amount of effort for you. What is the amount of effort that you feel you can do without striving or trying to get into a place where it causes more stress and undue upset? What is it that you can do within your strengths? That effort is under your control. You can take care of yourself. Self-care is super important. You can make that a priority. You can make sure that you are managing your diet. You can exercise and you can sleep well. You can try to help your mental health by practicing mindfulness and meditation and prayer and other things that reduce stress in your life. You can set boundaries. You could set boundaries and maintain personal and professional boundaries. And that's really hard for those of us that are in a profession where we are helpers. We are always trying to help and we want to help. That is our job. That's where our hearts are. But we also, for our own mental health and for our own physical health, we need to set good boundaries. So we can do that. What else can we control? We control personal growth. We can learn. We can seek out knowledge and new skills and new ideas. We can self-reflect. We can allow ourselves to be looking at what it is, how we're responding, how are you reacting, and how we're making decisions. Are we doing what's best for the situation and for myself? Am I in a place where I am doing my greatest good? Also, you can work on your adaptability. You can be open to change and willing to approach change in a different way, to adjust based on the circumstances, because every circumstance is going to be different. And finally, you can look at time management. What is it that you're doing with yourselves? Are you prioritizing yourself, your family, the things that are important to you so you become more healthy and resilient and your well-being is intact? Are you scheduling yourself? Are you scheduling yourself so you can prioritize things that are important to you? All of these things that allow you to have balance and mental well-being is really important and under your control. All of those things, you can control those things. But there are a lot of things in this world you cannot control. One of the things that I used to have an uncle to say, you can't control the weather. Well, it's true. I can't control the weather. I can control how I want to recycle and how I want to walk lightly on this world and not have a very huge footprint on this planet. But I cannot change the weather and I cannot change what's happening there. I cannot change what's happening on a global scale. I can do my part to vote, to have my voice heard, to be able to reach out to my congressmen and my legislators, and I can do what I can there. But in the whole end, what will be, will be. And so we need to be okay with, yes, we have exerted what we can, we've done what we can. And then you need to let it go because you need to be in the flow of life. And that constant striving will cause more stress and harm than it will do any good. You cannot control other people's actions. And you can probably see on the slide that I have other people's, other people's, other people's. You cannot control their actions and feelings, their behaviors, their opinions, or their emotions. You can't do any of that. You just people, the way people act and react, they're going to do that. Their opinions that they have, those are their opinions. There is nothing we can do about that. We can talk to them and we can provide them with information, but we cannot change them unless they are willing to change their focus. They have control of their thoughts and their emotions, and that's their responsibility. And so when it comes to them, we have no control over that. We cannot control past history. We cannot change what has already happened. We can learn from it. We can change from it. We can learn, make goals and plan for things to happen in different ways, but we cannot change the past. So all we can do is work for a better future. And we cannot change our mistakes. We can learn from them. We can make sure that we don't do them again, but we cannot change them. To some degree, we cannot influence the future outcomes. So you may make a plan. I don't know how many people, especially me, who are used to be a wedding planner. Now, wedding planners would go out and we would make plans. The bride had so many plans, and this is exactly how things wanted to unfold. And no matter what we planned or how we put it into play, there is always something that's going to go wrong. So we cannot have 100% control over outcomes. So there is uncertainty, and so we need to become comfortable with that uncertainty. And sometimes the opportunities that arise that we plan for are not exactly as we planned. So we need to be willing to be flexible and open. Sometimes we cannot change the way that our plans and our goals unfold, but we know and have faith that it is for the greater good. And then there are some things that we cannot change, like about ourselves, maybe biologically. I have my grandma's nose. That's the way it's going to be. I guess I could go out and I could fix that if I wanted to pay somebody to do that. But there are certain things in my life that I'm not going to be able to control. And aging is one of those things. So we all, at some point, there is no at some point. We are always constantly aging from the time that we're born to the time we leave this plane of existence. We are aging. So we cannot change those things. So in order to find balance in our lives, we need to remember that we can't control anything that is outside of us. We can try to influence it. We can try to change somebody's opinion. But if we're using the point in the way in Wu Wei, we are allowing ourselves to move against the difficulties that we experience and go with the flow. We're experiencing that idea of I can go and move, have my opinions, have my goals, but I am always going to be fluid and I'm going to move like water. I can accept what is. I can let go of what doesn't serve me. I can be extremely mindful of the present moment and what is mine to do. And then I can set goals based on that within my control. What is it that I know that I can control? So Wu Wei offers us an opportunity to have this powerful tool for living a more harmonious life. My student, who was a very strict conservative Christian, began to use Wu Wei in his life, and it changed his life, changed the way he thought. And he became almost a different person. He didn't abandon his Christian faith. He just used this idea of going with the flow and moving through his life, creating goals within his scope of influence. And he was able to move on, and he became an instructor and a professor in his own right at a university, teaching other students about the concepts that he learned when he was there. So I think that if you can navigate the challenges of life, you will have more ease and joy. So as you go about your day, just try to remember that you are like water and you can flow through life and you can allow what is to be what is. And that doesn't mean you don't want to change it. It means that you do not strive and stress yourself to being ill and unwell to be able to do the things that need to be done, because you can. do what needs to be done without stress and strife. And Wu Wei promises that. So this is the portion of our talk where I have questions. I take questions and I allow people to give their opinions. And if you are interested in doing that, please open your mic and say you would like to, that you have an opinion. Everybody is so excited to jump in on this.
So I'll say something, Lori. I mean, it's really a compliment to you. This is a very, very helpful message that you just gave for me today. And thank you for bringing in the political part, because that's where I can get overwrought pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I did self-care this week. I didn't listen to the national convention that was on. And I didn't feel guilty about that. I just knew I couldn't take it. So I just didn't do that. And but why I really think this lesson was so good in a broader sense is that it's easy for me to confuse the idea of going with the flow with being just lay back and not care. And thank you for your being pretty explicit. And the graphic was really good about it's not laying back and not caring at all. It's finding where the balance is for what you can do and have influence over it, and what is way too big. You just have to be part of a community. So I thought it was really helpful.
Well, thank you, Marcia. That's really important to remember too, because, you know, there is only so much we can do as one person. Now, even as a small group or even as a larger group. But we do what we can do to be able to make the change that we want to see. We do what we can do to be able to create those waves that, you know, that do make change. But we need to be okay with, one of the analogies that I love to use is the one where I was at a therapy session, and my therapist was saying, you know, you just need to visualize all of those things that you do not want to experience, or those things that are giving you trouble. You need to put them on those lily pads, and you need to let them flow down the river. You need to let them go, because, you know, you can have all that strife, you can have all this stress, but you need to be like water and you need to let it go. And the funny thing is, I just never really thought of it until I started working with the Tao. And that was kind of one of the things that really stuck with me as well when we were teaching, that the Wu Wei is such an important thing that we need to remember and to use for our own well-being at this time, because it's easy to get caught up in all of the stress and strife that's happening in the world, especially politically right now. And it's going to be a tough year. And so if we can remember to do what we can, and then remember that there's only so much we can do, and we have to be okay with that. And I think it's absolutely appropriate to not watch the convention. It's not, what can you do? You know, it would stress you out. It'd make it so you're up in arms about things that you can't control. And so take a step back. It allows you to step back and see things in a different way, and then be able to come back to it when you are ready. And yeah, Wu Wei is just a good example of how to do that.
Seeing Kathy's heart on her shirt again, and I'm wearing my heart necklace today. So, but there is that component of always holding in my heart that things will be okay, holding it there. And,
correct.
That's the intention part, of course, that we hold it there, and then there's faith and trust that it'll be okay. But if we all remember to hold it in our heart, that does create vibrations and movement in the outcomes of things. We may feel like doing nothing, but holding in our heart is an active step, actually.
Yes, it is. Yes. And I also believe prayer is an active step, and meditation and all of those, even though it seems like it only affects us, it doesn't. It changes the way that the world unfolds. And that's the kind of control we have. We have the control over what we can do. We may not understand or control what the outcome is of that energy or that meditation or that prayer, but we can control what we can do. We can allow the intention to go out and say, we would like the greatest good. And then we allow that to unfold as it is. Yeah. Thanks, Marcia. Anyone else? Would you like to speak? Victoria, I see that you are your mic is off.
My mic is up, and yes, I thought it was a really good presentation, and I really liked the graphic that went with it. I have to admit that at the beginning I didn't quite get it, but then as you spoke, in my mind, different parts highlighted. And then when you read the part that where you were saying over and over again about others reactions, others opinions, that has been a real part of my challenges my whole life. In always worrying about what other people think, what other people's opinions are, just putting others as a priority over myself for years. And yet at the same time, I just in my gut truly believe that people have to think, be authentic, and take all that other information in, but then think about it and decide which part of it is the right part for me, and act on my reactions and my gut feelings that go with it. And that has been and probably always will be a challenging part for me. I just have always valued other people higher than me. In a way, maybe it's an ego thing, because I always thought I was pretty invincible. And I always had so much abundance and prosperity and more than I ever needed. Even when I didn't have very much, I just always felt full. And I would look at other people and not see their cup very full at all. And mine's overflowing, so I should be sharing whatever I have. And that can very easily slide into what they need, and what they want is far more important than what I need or want, because I already have so much. And this morning before church, I caught a little bit of Oprah on her Soul Journeys show, and she had a woman on, and they were talking about, this was a woman, her last name is Huffington.
Ileana Huffington.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She was going and going and going and working 18 hours a day, 6 days a week or more. And one time she was in her office at night, and she stood up and she collapsed and hit her face on the corner of her desk and broke her cheekbone and got a big gash on her head and went unconscious on the floor. And when she woke up, she was in a pool of her own blood from a facial wound. And they did all the tests and everything, and it was exhaustion.
Yeah.
And you can go about the world being invincible and having too much and sharing and sharing and sharing, but when it gets to be too much, then you kind of receive the big punch and realize maybe self-care and what you think is important. And I look around so much, and I'm really pretty appalled at how little it appears people think. And I'm just a proponent for people thinking. I don't necessarily care what they come up with, for what they believe or whatever. I just want them to think about it. I don't want them to just gobble the hook just to get that little morsel on the short term. I want them to really think and absorb and project into the future. How's that going to affect us? The cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Also too, and when you think about that too, and you were talking about your own self-care and you were talking about what it is that you do, I mean, you got to think about those other people that don't think, maybe they choose not to. Maybe that's their way of dealing with them. And so we're talking about, what are other people doing? What can we do for them? We can want for them. We can wish that they did something, but is it in your best interest to focus on what it is that somebody else is doing or thinking or being, when you should be taking care of what it is you can do and what you can bring to the table? And because you have the power over what you can do. You can try to influence somebody else, but that doesn't always work. I have kids. I have children. I know that doesn't work. So
Never.
adult children don't listen. I don't understand that, but yeah. So where do you draw that line and say, hey, I wish that you thought more, or you had better, whatever skills that they need. But when it comes down to it, you're the only person that you have control over. So
Right.
yeah. Thank you, Victoria.
Sure.
Anyone else?
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to say that this upcoming year, as you mentioned, could be a challenge. And I know there's work to do, and I don't know what is mine to do, but I envision soldiers marching, not necessarily in conflict, but in some kind of issues. And because one does not realize that they're getting old, it might be a challenge to know what is mine to do. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's the balance may be a real interesting dilemma.
Yeah. And then, when we're in a space where we have a limited amount of ability to be, like for me, I have limited time, I have limited capacity, I don't have as much energy as I used to. So what is it? What can I do? What can I do? And so what I focused on this, because I was showing that we're doing the yarn thing. We're making mittens and stuff. Even though that doesn't influence the political climate right now, it is what is I can do to be able to help my community right here, right now with what I have. And so if I were to stress and and if I were watching the news and I really stopped doing that, I cannot do that. So when I'm watching and I'm getting frustrated and I'm feeling like the world is hopeless and oh my gosh, that's not doing my health any good. So then it's beginning to limit again what I can do. So if I'm not putting the oxygen mask on myself first, I can't help anybody else. And so when I remember to do what I can do within my scope, then I am not striving beyond what I can and my capacity. And so being in that balance is about finding what it is that's within your scope of ability and staying there, and then being flexible and being okay with what is. And that's the hardest part, because I'm a problem solver, and that at my nature, I want to solve the problem, but I can't solve the problem if I am not doing what I can do for myself first in order to be able to do what I can do within my scope. And so it's hard, it's frustrating. And as I get older, I find that I can do less and less, or I can do different things than I could when I was young. So now I don't have children. So I am in a different space. I don't have to find babysitters and I don't have to do all of that. However, I am older and I have some health issues. And so I need to be able to, take care of that. So you just switch and you go with the flow. And that's why I like that analogy of water, because it's flexible, it moves, and it does what it needs to do. And it always flows no matter what, when it's appropriate. Now, a pond doesn't need to flow, but a river, at some point, maybe the rocks will give way and the pond becomes a river or a stream. So it's just flexibility and being able to do what needs to be done. So just be okay with the process of finding what's yours to do. And it's not easy, but I think and I'm not saying that we need to be okay with what's happening in the world. I am certainly not okay with it. But I also know that I can do this much, and I am going to do this much. I'm going to do what I can do. And I'm going to try not to get caught up in what's going on, because it's not going to be for the greatest good if we're all stressed out and freaked out and we end up making reactions and decisions that are not in our best interest. So thank you, Karen, for your input.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. What a great conversation. Thank you for listening. And I'm glad you were able to take in what we talked about Wu Wei. It is a new concept, but it's really not a new concept. If you know anything, like I said, about Martin Luther King or Gandhi or any of Thich Nhat Hanh, about their effortless action. There seems like it's non-action, but it is not non-action. It's about being flexible and doing what needs to be done in the moment for the greatest good. And that is exactly what Wu Wei is. So thank you for listening. I'm going to invite David back for another song. Thanks, David.
He's muted.
He knows. He got it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I didn't know I was muted. I was trying to say I had an opinion.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's too late now.
No, it's fine. Go.
I've learned, especially in this climate, I keep my opinions to myself. But, watching the little bit of the RNC, I was like, do people buy this baloney they're grinding out? Anyway, that's my opinion. That's why I keep it to myself. Anyway, here's a song that's great for today.
Okay.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. Though it may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Thank you, David. That was a perfect song for today. All right. Well, let's get into a comfortable position where you feel comfortable to meditate, whatever position that is for you, whether you're lying back, sitting down, feet on the floor, or just being supported where you are. And you can choose to have your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can look at the screen. We have a wonderful river flowing, and you can see how we're going to put in this beautiful idea of Wu Wei into our meditation. So take a deep breath in, and as you breathe, you exhale and allowing your lungs to get rid of all of that old air. And as you do so, you're releasing all stress and tension. And as you inhale and exhale, you allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into relaxation and meditation. And as you are sitting in this meditation, imagine or see a gentle river flowing through your mind, allowing it to be part of the landscape of your inner mind. And the water flows around the rocks, and it ignores all the obstacles. And it's finding the path of least resistance. This river represents the concept of Wu Wei, the art of effortless action. Just allow things to flow through your mind. If there is anything that is troubling you, you can allow yourself to put it on a lily pad and allow it to flow downstream. Now I'd like you to bring to mind something in your life that you can control, whether it be an attitude or an action or a response to a certain situation. I'd like you to acknowledge that you have power and influence with this part of your life. And visualize yourself taking positive, intentional action that aligns with your values and your goals. Something within your scope of control. Visualize yourself being in that comfortable space of what it is you can do. Now I'd like you to think of something that you can't control. Perhaps it's someone else's behavior, or something that's a past event, or a mistake that you made, or something in the future that's uncertain, that you don't know what the outcome will be. You can recognize this aspect of your life as a rock in the river. It's an obstacle that you cannot move. But as you imagine yourself as the water, flowing around it with grace and acceptance, know that you are making a difference. Knowing that you can navigate around everything without resistance. And as you do so, you wear down those obstacles. And as you continue to breathe in and out, and you settle more and more in your chair, feel a sense of balance within you. Because understand that life is a mix of what you can and cannot control. And as you embrace the concept of Wu Wei in your life, you allow yourself to flow naturally, to focus your energy on what you can influence, and let go of all the rest. Affirm to yourself, I accept what I cannot control and focus on what I can. I flow through life with ease and balance, embracing the path of least resistance. I accept what I cannot control and focus on what I can. I flow through life with ease and balance, embracing the path of least resistance. And as we allow the rivers in our minds to flow freely, we gradually bring our awareness back to our bodies, back to this present moment. We begin to feel our physical selves and wiggling our fingers and toes, opening our eyes if they have been closed. Take a breath and allow yourself to feel balance, and that you're resilient, and allow yourself to move like water throughout the rest of your day. I'm going to invite David back for another song before we end our message.
This is a song that we used to sing at youth group retreats. It's a song that Mark Stanton Welch used to center people in their hearts, and it never failed. I mean, it just really ended it's usually at the end of a retreat, but and you really feel connected with each other. So, and it goes like this. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. My heart is open wide to let you in. You are so beautiful. You are so wonderful. And I do love you as you are, my friend. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. My heart is open wide to let you in. You are so beautiful. You are so wonderful. And I do love you as you are, my friend. You are so beautiful. You are wonderful. My heart is open wide to let you in. You are so beautiful. You are so wonderful. And I do love you as you are, my friend.
Thank you, David. That's a lovely song. We've come to the portion of our service where we open our hearts to give. All donations that we receive here at Unity go to support the missions and the ministries and the musicians that we have here each and every Sunday. And there are so many different ways you can give. You can go to our Facebook page and give there. There's a donate button at facebook.com/Unity of Tacoma. You can go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/love-offering to give via PayPal. You can also click the top of the main page and it'll say love offering at the top and you can click right there. You can donate through using Zelle, using our telephone number 253-576-3225. or you can mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington 98411. And Amarius will go ahead and put the link for our giving page if you are interested in giving today. All right. Well, I would like to send us off with a benediction. And this benediction actually is kind of a nod to my father. He was a huge Bruce Lee fan. And there is a quote from Bruce Lee that was absolutely perfect for this. So I'm going to use that today. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water, making its way through cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around and through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. Empty your hand. Be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friends." So I'd like to send you off with that you be like water, be flexible, allow yourself to go with the flow and to take care of yourself. And like Victoria, ride the wave. Dave is going to take us out with our song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth," and I will put the words on the screen for those of you who do not know it.
Yeah, help me sing it. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful week and go with the flow.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.